Welcome everybody to another Power Soccer PDX live stream. We appreciate everyone joining us. We are streaming on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So please, we apologize if there's any buffering issues. We have not streamed to both platforms at the same time before, so this is new for us to be able to try. Um, Today we are interviewing Enoch. He has been with Power Soccer for about a year, and he is going to be interviewed today. Got lots of different questions to ask him, and then we will also be taking questions and comments from Facebook as well as from YouTube. So please go ahead and start posting your comments and questions now ahead of time, so then that way when we get to that Q&A session, we are all set and ready to be able to get those questions answered. So without further ado, we will go ahead and start the interview here with Enoch. Enoch, how you doing?
I'm great. How you doing?
Doing really good. So in this interview format, we kind of basically going to go through some questions, and you can just kind of go through and answer the questions as we go. And then after the questions, we do have a surprise that you're going to be doing for us, I hear.
That is correct. It's going to be a smashing good time.
Smashing good time. Well, I can't wait till we get to that. That sounds like this will be awesome. So I'm going to start out with kind of a first easy basic question. How did you get started in playing Power Soccer?
Well, my buddy Johnny Sales was playing with you guys, and I saw him post a video on Facebook and contacted him, and he put me in contact with you. And here we are.
Right? Yeah, here we are. Yeah. Yeah, John's good about recruiting out people, that's for sure. Good job, John. I know you're watching. What surprised you about playing soccer when you first played? Like, what was like a surprise that you had?
I was surprised how physical it was. So I didn't realize it was going to be quite as much of an impact sport as it really is. So I always tell my friends, in comparison, it feels like I've been through a bunch of mini car accidents by the time I'm done with practice.
That's a really good saying. Yeah. Okay. Well, based on that, you're saying that you always hear you in a car accident. How do you feel after running into an opponent or bumping into an opponent?
I love it. I feed off the adrenaline. So I absolutely love being physical. I love being competitive, and I just like being a part of this team sport. It's just amazing.
Awesome. Well, based on that and things that you've seen on Power Soccer with the current equipment we have, I know that currently you're using your own chair currently. What are your thoughts on improvements for the equipment? Like, is there anything that improvement you would want to see for the equipment that we are currently using and have now?
Well, I'd love to see everybody on the team in a true Power Soccer chair. Obviously, using our daily drivers is a little bit dangerous because that's how we get around, and if they break, we're kind of in trouble. And they just don't do the job the same as the new ones. The Power Soccer chairs, they're a little quicker, they're lower to the ground, so there's less of a chance of a flip over, and they're meant for the abuse compared to these daily drivers where they're just meant to be driven in our homes, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Massive difference for the team, I think. It'd be a game changer, and it would make us more competitive against other teams nationwide.
Yes, for sure. And we do have currently 3 of those Strike Force chairs, and we are still trying to get some more funding in order to purchase a few more of those as well right now, because that is a game changer when it comes to the sport of Power Soccer. Things we would definitely would benefit from by having, for sure.
Absolutely.
Based on that, saying, how can people help you with playing soccer?
How can people help me with playing soccer?
Yeah, like what is something that people could, if somebody was to reach out to you on like Instagram or Facebook, like what is something that they could do for you that would help with with playing power soccer, just for you as an individual?
As an individual, I think having more people that are able to drive me to the practices means that it's about an hour drive from where I live right now to get there. Because right now I'm riding TriMet bus for the most part, and that takes about 3 hours, and that sucks a lot. And I have to carry all my gear, which is even harder because they don't like having to help with any of that stuff. But just the support as well. I mean, people coming out, watching it, sharing our videos, and just making the world aware that this is a sport and it's growing, and it's something that's fun to watch.
Yeah, exactly, and that is something that we're always looking for is volunteers, not only to help us with our practices, but then also for something like what you said with like transportation. Getting there, having somebody could volunteer could come over to your place and get you to and from the practice without having to rely on, the public transportation system,
Yeah.
which can be very delayed. And like you said, if you're trying to haul equipment, it's something they're not necessarily always willing to do.
Yeah. It'd also be helpful just to have someone to kick the ball around with me.
True, just
You know,
even
the
get
more,
some extra practice
more
time in during the week and stuff when you're awake, because obviously we're not
exactly.
really practicing at the moment. So if you can practice at a time like this, that would be really great to have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, was it your idea to pursue disability sports, or did it take persuasion from anyone in your family?
No, it was my idea. I was involved in sports in high school quite a bit. I wrestled. Actually, I got out of my chair and I can walk on my knees a little bit, especially on the mats. It was nice. So I wrestled quite a bit through junior high and high school. Managed like the football team and the track teams and stuff. And I just started researching. I wanted to see what was out there and available for me. And I had learned about power soccer years ago, but it wasn't quite in Portland yet. So I had been waiting, and that's when I finally saw Johnny having a video, and I was pretty excited to get involved.
Awesome. Well, what would you say? I mean, based on now, since you've been playing with us for almost a year, what is your favorite thing about adaptive sports as a whole? Like, what is something that really, like something that what makes you excited about adaptive sports as a whole, not just power soccer, but just adaptive sports
Yeah,
in general?
I think as a whole, it's just a great opportunity for people with limited ability to get out there and be part of a team. You know, we don't always have that opportunity. I was lucky enough to be a part of some teams growing up, but most people don't have that opportunity. And being a part of a team is something that changes you as a person, the way that you look at life and the obstacles in front of you. Having a team to help you get through those obstacles is a lot easier than doing it by yourself. And it teaches people to lean on one another rather than just trying to do everything themselves, because we all need help, whether we're in a wheelchair or not. Everyone needs help. The problem is most people don't know how to ask for it. And when you're a part of a team, it becomes a lot easier because people are so willing to help, and it teaches that communication.
Which is such an important part of our sport is having communication not just on the court but even outside the court as well when we're getting together and hanging out.
That's right.
So this is kind of a little bit non-power soccer related questions now, but there are ones that have been submitted by your teammates that knew that you were going to be on this interview. So they wanted to know, what disability do you have?
It's called arthrogryposis multiplex congenita. It's a mouthful.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's
Yeah,
definitely a
or
mouthful.
short. Yeah, AMC is what the acronym is.
Okay. Okay. Um, as a disabled individual, as you know, Portland kind of has a love-hate relationship with the paper straw. What is your opinion on the paper straw?
I think that there should never be a straw made of paper. I think
And,
it's stupid. They get soggy, then they don't work. I sneak in my own plastic straws when I go to the Portland Blazer games, but it's easy to do when you have a wheelchair. A little harder to do when you're trying to put it in your pocket. But I just can't stick with paper straw. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. If you want to save animals, don't throw your plastic in the woods. Plain and simple.
yeah, exactly. And there's no reason why plastic straws can't be reused. You could
Yeah.
easily wash it
I,
out and reuse it, not be throwing them out constantly, adding more to the landfill. So for sure.
yep.
Um, this is about kind of you as an individual. What part of your daily routine bothers you the most? Like if just part of your daily routine, something that just like stands out, like man, that really bothers me that's got to go like that.
Well, I think for me, the hardest thing, the thing that no.
Oh, hold on a second. We're having some technical difficulties. There we go.
Are we back?
We apologize for that. We had a little bit of a connection error. Okay. All right. So we were just talking about your daily routine that was bothering you, that bothers you the most.
So I don't think there's a lot in my daily routine that bothers me. I am very active, and the part that frustrates me the most is my wheelchair batteries not lasting enough to do the things I want to do. Um, I've kind of, I'm hoping to change that. I'm going to be ordering a track chair sometime in the next week, and it's gas powered, so no more batteries for me, which would be great. Next thing would be driving. I can't currently drive by myself, but I'm working on it.
That's awesome. Yeah, especially to be able to have this the freedom to be able to go wherever you want, when you want, and not having to, wait or rely on your wheelchair batteries or, just to be able to keep going. That would be super awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Another question from a teammate. They wanted to know, as a little kid, what did you want to be while growing up?
First, I wanted to be an attorney.
Okay.
Everybody hates the people that are attorneys, so I changed my mind. And when I went to college, I went for graphic design. I did a little bit of web building after college, but now I'm just I run office for 3 different companies: and property management company, a commercial construction company, and a residential construction company.
Wow.
So
Keep yourself very busy. A lot of things
yeah,
outside of school there. That's awesome. Well,
and then
good.
also as a kid, what was really important to me as a kid is I grew up hunting and fishing and getting out in the country. My dad, being a contractor, was able to build pretty much anything I wanted, so I was lucky in that aspect. One of the things I wanted to do when I grew up was create a way for other disabled kids to be able to do this. So I run a nonprofit organization. I helped build one called Creating Memories for Disabled Children that's still up and running over in Eastern Oregon. And then I have one here locally in Estacada called Barrier Free Outdoors. And we offer free guided fishing trips, hunting trips, and outdoor adventures to all children with disabilities and their families. We want it to be a family event,
That's
which is
awesome.
pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, if anybody there is interested, check out Creating Memories for Disabled Children.com or creatingmemoriesfdc.com. They have a great location in Eastern Oregon with a 90-acre camp and wheelchair accessible cabins and wheelchair accessible boats as well.
Awesome. That's huge. I mean, we definitely need more organizations like that out, everywhere in the United States to allow the, disabled, especially the young, to be able to get out and enjoy the outdoors.
Absolutely, yeah. And if anybody wants to do it locally, just message me on Facebook. I'll hook you up.
Perfect. Awesome. Another teammate question. What is it that you like to do in your free time?
Hunting, fishing, pretty much, and power soccer. That's
The
what I
three,
do.
the three things in life right there, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, spending time with family and friends in any of those three environments is my favorite thing to do.
Awesome.
Yep.
What about your favorite food?
Ooh, man.
I know.
Probably elk backstrap would be like one of my favorites for sure. It's the most tender, delicious part of the elk. Not that any part is bad. That's all good, but that is my favorite. Yeah.
That's your favorite food out there. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
like a slow smoked one.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is another question we have come in from one of our teammates. If you have the ability to choose one thing you could do for by yourself that currently someone else currently has to do for you, what would that be?
Drive.
Drive. The freedom
Super.
of driving.
Yep. Super easy question on that one.
Okay. I mean, that's straightforward. I mean, I miss driving myself, so I totally understand what you mean by that. So, what is your favorite sport or sports besides power soccer?
Football.
Football. Okay.
I'm a football junkie. I am in 3 very competitive fantasy football leagues right now, and I'm the commissioner in one of those leagues. I am the reigning, defending 2-time champion in our family league, so I like to brag about that quite a bit.
Let's make
And
sure
my
that all the
family,
families that's watching, making sure that they're clear and
yeah,
understanding that you're on top there, right?
absolutely. Yeah, my family is very competitive in everything that we do, and fantasy football is definitely that way. I mean, we are very competitive. So anytime that I can rub it in their faces that I've won the championship 2 years in a row, it's gonna be great.
That's awesome. Cannot beat that at all. So
No.
this is one of our favorite little questions that got thrown in there by our magical volunteer. We won't mention his name. You already know who he is. He wanted to know on a scale of 1 to 10, how great is Coach Ryan, aka me?
I will say 10 because I'm face to face with you.
Ah, all
No,
right.
no, you're a great coach. And I think it's very important the way that you coach us in showing the importance of teamwork and communication. A lot of coaches are focused on wins only, and you're focused on us having fun and communicating and being a team. That is why I would say you're 10.
Awesome. Well, thanks. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. So, what we want to do is if anybody has any comments, questions, please go ahead and start sending those in right now. We will, Enoch is going to be getting set up and doing a surprise for everybody, a rather smashing surprise. So while he's going through and getting that set up, if anybody has any additional questions or anything that they'd like to know, please go ahead and start putting that in the comments right now, please.
All right, I'm gonna flip this around and get my camera lady getting the camera here.
All right, I'm going to turn off us for a second and just go right to our social stream while you are getting that ready. You let me know when you're ready, and I will switch it back to the live. You just keep me posted. Let me know, Enoch, and I'll switch it over. All right, are you ready? All right, coming back to you
Yeah, I'm
live.
ready.
All right, we got Enoch live for a live smashing event. Go for it, Enoch.
All right, so one of the most common questions I get is how impactful can it be? They're just wheelchairs. So today, if your camera scrolls down, you'll see I have the guard on the front of my wheelchair. This is the metal guard we use to hit the ball. And today I'm going to show you the power that the wheelchair has by smashing all of these watermelons that I have laid out on the ground. I'm just going to go one after the other. I'm going to do it with a backwards and then a spin. Hopefully this works out. That'll work. Better. Oh, tough watermelon. Follow me. Let's get that thing out of here. Oh, you get stuck. There we go. We cannot allow watermelons to live around here with wheelchairs. So that's the demonstration. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll get back to the table for the Q&A portion.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Enoch. That was great. All right, let's check in on the questions. Come on, I know there's a few of you
Can you
watching
see
right
me
now.
now?
There's got to be some questions.
Oh, I've lost audio here.
Oh, I still there we go. I still hear you.
Sweet. So did you guys see that pretty good?
Yeah, that was great. That was very smashing. I'm waiting for any of the comments to come in.
No questions out there, huh?
I know there's a lot of viewers. I'm really surprised that there's no questions. Let me check on.
I was really hoping for one of them single ladies to hit me up on this thing.
All the single ladies, huh?
Yeah, this is where we add my number, like right here somewhere.
Right across the screen there for you.
Call for a good date.
Right.
Smashing good
time with watermelons, of course. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, come on. I know there's I'm checking Facebook and I'm looking at YouTube. Does anybody have any questions for Enoch? I know we asked a lot of questions, but there's got to be some.
Even if it's crazy, I'll answer just about anything. I'm an open book.
Not seeing the rest of that question. We did have a question come in from Alicia Levi, but there's no finalized rest of that question.
Text me that question right now.
Let's give that another second. They're about 45-second delay on that. So
that's my. Oh, I know she has my number.
All right, I got a question came in. Who's your favorite cook?
Ooh, shoot! I gotta figure out who I'm thinking is asking that question.
Can't tell you that. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm gonna go ahead and with the safe answer say me. But no, we have a lot of great cooks in our family. I eat at my cousin Hannah's a lot, so I'm assuming she's asking the question if I had to guess. But anybody in our family is a great cook. So.
Okay. All right. We have another question coming in. What is your trick to winning the family league twice on that fantasy football league? How are you doing that?
I'm just a big hairy American winning machine. But no, I pay attention to all the games I watch. Just about every game, I record the ones I can't watch so I can watch them later. And I pay attention to how the offense is working, what defense they're playing against in each of those matchups. And I usually try to draft players that maybe aren't the highest scoring in the league, but they're going to give me a good double-digit score pretty much every week, and that stay healthy. A lot of people get the number one guy in the league, but he only plays 4 or 5 games in the season because he's out there getting hurt all the dang time. I want steady Eddie, 10 to 15 points per game on my bench, and that's how I win championships.
That's awesome. That's great. That's huge, man. We have another question coming in here from the comments. They want to know, how's the F350 doing?
My F350 is fantastic. I love that truck. It's running good, and I'm getting ready to take it hunting in about 3 weeks, and hopefully I'll get a deer in it this year again. It'll be fun.
Nice. Perfect. Another question just came in. Who is your favorite spades partner? Which I'm assuming must be a family member asking that question.
Yeah, my spades partner is the same every time, so I will say Alexis is my favorite spades partner.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. We've got another question in from one of your teammates, John. He wants to know, have you fallen out of your wheelchair before?
I have fallen out of my wheelchair more times than I can count, to be honest with you. Fallen over due to my own, let's say, uh, I don't know, aggressive driving, and then just goofing around. And sometimes I just get in a hairy situation, and you just gotta try to get out of it best you can. But first time I ever flipped my wheelchair over, though, I was with my longtime best friend Nick Munson. We met in 6th grade, and that year was the first time I flipped my chair because he told me, he goes, "What's gonna happen?" He goes, "You fall out of your wheelchair, I flip it back up and put you back in it, and we keep going." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And I flipped my wheelchair over, didn't hurt, and from that point on, I've been pushing the limits.
Awesome. I did
Yeah.
finally get that Facebook message. It finally came through to what we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
How do you know when to turn to hit the watermelons or even like a soccer ball? Like, how do you know when to turn to hit that perfectly?
That is a good question. So I am looking over my shoulder, but it took practice. So the first time I tried to do that with a soccer ball, I whiffed it huge, just totally missed it, airball style. It takes a lot of practice and timing to get that down. But once you figure out how the wheelchair feels and what it's going to do in the turn, you can pretty much do it every time. But it just takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, practice for sure is definitely makes perfect in order to make that happen. So
Absolutely.
for sure. All right, let's see. Who's the best female pistol shooter that you know?
Oh my gosh, this is Hannah also.
You got a lot
I
of fans
mean,
in there.
yeah, best pistol. I mean, on her first ever shot, she dead center punched the bullseye, so that was pretty dang good. And I haven't done a lot of pistol shooting with other females, so I'll say Hannah.
Perfect.
That
Another.
and she cooked my dinner tonight, and I want it to be good.
Well, there's that too, right? Yeah. Um, somebody wanted to know. Hold on, question just disappeared. They wanted to know how many years have you. Yeah. So how many years have you been doing power soccer? I think it's about a year and a half, right? That sound about
Pretty
right?
close, yeah. Going towards the end of 2 seasons ago, so I was there for like maybe one practice for that last season, and then I was there all of this last season actually. So
Okay.
one full season. This is my second year,
Yeah.
and unfortunately practicing because of COVID-19 and all that.
Yeah. Our practices are on hold at the moment until we kind of,
You know,
until things calm down with the whole COVID thing for sure.
yeah. Till we
That's
get the
why.
belt boy approved.
Yeah, and that's why we're starting to do these live streams a little bit more and kind of share a little bit more about each of us and all of our players, so that way people can kind of learn about the sport itself.
Absolutely.
One of the other questions just came in is where do we play games, and is there a power soccer season? So I guess I can kind of answer that.
You'd
So
be the best.
yeah, I'd be the best of that one, right? Um,
Yep.
so there is a power soccer season. It normally goes from September to July, so kind of like a little 2 month period of off time. And then currently we are playing games up in Hillsboro at a local church. We have a church there that we're using for practicing and playing games. Our goal before COVID happened was to go and play some other teams, possibly up in Seattle or Southern California. We just haven't had a chance to before COVID happened. So that is something we do plan on doing as soon as COVID is over, is to start the season back up right away and try to get some traveling games under our belt to give everyone some experience in playing games.
That's right. That night, I can't wait to smash people I don't care about.
until you get yellow carded and red carded
Yeah.
that game, right? Yes.
Yeah. Hey, somebody's got to get a red card.
Yeah, I think you're going to be our most red carded player for sure. And I mean that in the nicest of ways.
Possible. Yeah. Only when they really deserve it.
Yeah. One more question. It looks like it's from another family member. Yeah, I know that you're a big fan of hunting and fishing. It's kind of like one of your big things you really love. Can you think of
Yeah.
like your best hunting and fishing memory?
Yes. So someone just asked me that question by text too. Um, so best hunting memory for sure was 2 years ago in Montana.
Okay.
It was my time hunting Montana. The guys in my family do it every year, and I took my pontoon boat that we had custom built for my wheelchair to be able to get access to, and we were out on the what's the name of that river, Missouri River,
Okay.
and we were my dad and my cousin Kyle and I were on the boat, and we're kind of going up these little fingers off the edge of the river. And this river is massive. I mean, it's unbelievably huge. But anyway, so we're up in these rivers and finally spot this nice buck the second day we're out, about 429 yards away. And we're on the boat, floating on the water. So the boat's moving up and down a little bit.
Wow.
I had adrenaline pumping like crazy because it's the biggest buck I've ever seen in my scope in my life. But I've been practicing a lot with Kylan. We've been shooting long range all summer long, and took my time and shot it, and it could have stood up and then just fell right back down. It's the biggest buck I've ever killed. I got it on my wall right now. But that's the greatest memory. Super funny because my cousin Kylan, he's a man of few words. But when I shot that thing, all you could hear across the whole lake or the whole river was, "You whack-a-doodled that thing." And that will stick with me forever. I'll never forget him saying that. It was pretty funny.
So it's one of those things you're just never going to forget. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then fishing would probably be that same trip. Later, I was with my cousin Josh, and we hooked into a big northern pike, and probably the biggest smallmouth bass I've ever got was a 4-pound smallmouth bass. It was huge, and yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That's huge, dude. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, not really trying to see if I see any other comments coming in. I know there were about a 40-second delay.
Yeah.
Check and see if there's anything new.
Tell you what, I'll give you another hunting story that has to do with flipping my wheelchair over.
All right, we want to. I mean, we don't want to hear about you falling out of your chair, but then we all secretly do want to hear about that.
Yeah. So I got dropped off. I'm pretty capable when I'm out hunting. I usually get dropped off in a spot, and I'll move around to where I want to sit, and then they'll just come pick me up later. If they hear my gunshot, we turn the radios on. But I got dropped off. It's pitch black dark, and I'm cruising through the woods, getting to the spot that I'd looked at the day before where I wanted to sit. And the area we're at is like this very like deserty, dry area, and I hit this little sinkhole and flip the chair over. It's pitch black dark, and nobody else is there to help me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Daylight's not even here. I don't want to ruin this hunt. It's perfect conditions. So I just picked up my gun and walked on my knees the rest of the way, then backed up to this little tree. And my gun, in the process, like safety got switched off on my gun, and it went off by itself, and nobody got hurt. It was totally fine. It was aimed in a safe direction. But hearing the gunshot, my dad assumed I had shot a deer. So he comes driving down this road that he drops me off at. And next thing you know, he sees a wheelchair flipped over out in the middle of the woods, and I'm not in it nor near it. And he starts screaming my name, and I'm laughing almost too hard to be able to say, "Hey, I'm over here." But yeah, it was pretty funny. It worked out. You know, I eventually stopped laughing long enough to yell out to him, but yeah, he's like, "That was the weirdest thing. I never imagined I would just run down the road and see your wheelchair flipped over without you in it." And I'm like, "Well, I wanted to hunt."
So. Yeah, you know, it happens. Oh,
yeah.
man. Oh, wow. Wow, that's a crazy story, dude. That's awesome. Well, yeah, I think that we covered quite a bit of territory on this.
Awesome.
Real appreciate you being available for this, Q&A session to kind of get to know each of our different athletes that we have. So yeah, and I'm really impressed about the watermelon smashing. That was pretty awesome. Can't beat that.
That worked out.
Yeah, no, that was perfect, man. I think we're definitely have to get some slow-mo replays of that later for sure.
Yeah, we'll have to do some pumpkins for Halloween.
I think so. I think smashing pumpkins. I think we need to figure out a way to make it like secure them so they really smash really good when you run into it.
I think we should smash them between my chair and yours at the same time.
Deal. That'll be the October Smash Fest. We'll call it.
I like it.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again for being available, and we're going to be ending this live stream here. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll be hopefully doing another one of these in about 2 weeks with a different athlete. So thank you again, Enoch, and we'll
Yep.
see everybody later.
Yep. Bye, everybody.